listening to Only the Best Herbs. Welcome to Only the Best Herbs, the podcast where the ancient wisdom of herbal healing meets the groundbreaking discoveries of now 2024. My name is Ryan Bolda, and today we're weaving a story of nature's power in our modern world.
I wanted to get started and wanted to learn a little bit more about you. So give me a little backstory on Sheila Orchard. What got you into, alternative and holistic medicines? What inspired you growing up? So what made you, what made that switch for you?
Okay. All right. Yeah. I grew up, I was kind of a troubled teen. Went through some situations, through the years, and I ended up I dealt with a lot of anxiety and depression. And then as an adult, I started dealing with some injuries that caused chronic pain, degenerative disc disease, arthritis, fibromyalgia. I ended up having a neck surgery. I currently need another one. I'm saying no.
You screwed up.
Yeah. So that's kind of the gist of like my health for the most part. I don't know. The doctors just put me through the ringer like they do. You get test after test and medicine after medicine. And next thing I know, I'm also an alcoholic. I'm doing everything I can to self-medicate along with their 13 medicines, including their opiates.
Right.
And, everything. And it was just a spiral, horrible spiral. And I just I couldn't take it. I knew I was going to lose everything dear to me. And it was not a life. I wasn't living life. I was a zombie. I was still stuck in bed. I was still hurting. I was still dealing with everything. So I don't know. It's my son-in-law and daughter spoke to me about cannabis a little more, and I had used it in the past, but never medicinally. So they're like, "Hey, we can help you. You can do this." And so sure enough, I was like, "All right," I was all in. I don't know if I've ever smoked so much cannabis in my life in that 2 months. I can admit, but I kicked it. I mean, yeah, some people will say once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. But I can say I can actually take a drink here and there, a couple drinks here and there, whatever. I know my limit and I know how to catch myself if it starts feeling it's getting out of control now. I don't desire it like I did. I don't drink like I did at all. I mean, it's amazing. Cannabis literally saved my life. I totally stopped all 13 of those pills, including the opiates. Against doctor's orders, I stopped cold turkey.
Congrats. Congratulations. That itself is a huge accomplishment.
Right? Thank you so much. I mean, it feels amazing now. Then the first 6 months was rough. Nobody understands how much their prescriptions in your body are hurting you. They believe these prescriptions are helping them. How's it help when, okay, well, this one causes this. So let's give you another one. Well, this one causes this. Well, let's give you another one to combat that. That's not helping me.
And then you got like a whole bunch of interactions happening and you're just like all screwed up and you don't know what's going on. And these doctors don't really know any better because that's what they're taught.
Exactly.
And that's the screwed up part.
Exactly. So it took me, I was probably 45-ish whenever I started the journey. I'm 50 now. And I am literally living my best life now that I have ever lived, thanks to cannabis.
That's awesome. That's an awesome story. I'm happy for you because I know that you make your own edibles. I know you've gotten into it. You do FICO, oil basically for cancer patients, which is awesome. Tell us a little bit more about your business.
All right, yeah. Excuse me. I started out with just a couple products actually. Starting with my pain cream that I make, Herbal Comfort Cream. I started making it for myself because I knew there had to be a way to help myself combat this pain. And I was tired of all the over the counter stuff. Nothing was helping. And so it took me a little bit, but I tweaked it and finally found the recipe I liked. Finally
Nice.
found the recipe that helped. And I don't know, I just started like I had friends and family hurting in need. And so I started sharing. And that's just kind of how it all started. And I started with what was the name? Like Natural Peace Herbal Boutique or something like that.
Mhm.
And, it was just kind of one of those. I'd never done a business on my own. And I started, I had pain cream, a lotion, dog treats, just probably 5 or 6 different ingredients. But I also had herbal teas that I did as well. I was learning how to mix different herbs in teas, not just cancer related, but ways to help with pain or congestion or anxiety or whatever. And so I did that for a little while. And then I met a friend through another part time job, and we decided to partner up. I learned a lot from her through the business. I'm not one to bash anything, so I'm going to do what I can to stay positive on this. It was not meant to be. She, I hope, was able to learn something from me through all of it. I pray. I know I was able to learn a lot from her. I unfortunately went down with a back injury, and I ended up having to deal with some high blood pressure that put me out of commission, like totally for about 6 months. And
Wow.
yeah, it sucked. It was rough. And so I had to go back through the realm of doctor tests, doctor medicines, all their stuff. Next thing you know, they've got me on 6 different blood pressure, heart medicines.
Hmm.
And I don't know what to do. I've done a lot to help a lot of people with a lot of things, but when it comes to the heart, no, I'm out. I
Right.
don't, you know? And so I jump through their hoops and everything, and I do a lot of evaluating. And I realized that I was not meant to be in that partnership. That's not what's best for me and her, either one.
Pretty
So I let
much.
her go. Thank you.
Mm.
It was hard. Best for us was to go forward separately, but to continue to do what we're doing because I know for a fact we was helping a lot of people.
Hmm.
So I started on my own. I wasn't going to. I had no intentions of it. The heart doctors, I was able to get released. And I personally told them, all right, I'm not taking all these meds. I'll take 2, but I'm not taking them all. I tried none and that didn't work.
Right.
So I succumbed to their 2. And it wasn't even a month of me posting, that I had been released and everybody's hitting me up. So
Mm.
I was like, okay, God, I'm listening. I'm listening here. You're giving me all the signs. So I guess I'm back at this. And so I decided I needed to start back, but I knew I had to go a different route. I wanted things
Right.
different.
And it's hard to do that too because, like you said, it's your heart, and
Yeah. I started dealing with some high blood pressure, and it was spiking like uncontrollable, and I was getting real sick, and I knew I had to do something about it. I went into the ER at one point even, and they found a few little things with my heart, but nothing major. Basically, they just kept saying they blew it off as stress. Okay. So at that point, I'm thinking, okay, you have me on 6 different medications, not just for blood pressure, but for my heart. And you're telling me that I'm good except for stress? Not one of the medicines was for stress, mind you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not one.
That's
So,
wild.
yeah, I was like, no, not doing it. Can't do it, And so I got back on my feet, got rid of 4 of them, currently still on 2 blood pressure medicines. One of them I do not take consistent, only when it's out of control.
Do you have like one of those machines and stuff, like you're measuring your heart rate, your heart rate and your blood pressure, like I would imagine pretty frequently?
Yes, yes. And I can always tell when my blood pressure spikes on me. It's just something that I figured out with how my body feels. The flush, the hot, the getting sick, nauseated, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know, so I'll take the one medicine consistently, and then if I need, I'll take the other. But
What would you say cannabis has done for helping you with that? Manage some of those symptoms in your high blood pressure, because I have people myself who use CBD products, for example, and they claim and they continue to use hemp products, cannabis products on the regular because it helps them control their blood pressure. How would you say that's accurate? Has it helped you with that?
I would say it's helped me with the stress factor side of it. As for trying to control that until it builds up to it.
Mm-hmm.
Anything after that, I'm not going to claim I'm on an amazing CBD or CBG regimen like I need to be. I'm more just kind of that whole plant. And so I do believe if I would get a little more intensive with the CBD and the CBG and a lot more of those other cannabinoids, I might be able to regulate it a little better.
Mm-hmm.
I know, like personally, we didn't get into this before, but I have an absorption issue as well. They can't tell me why I lost 45 pounds in a year. And since then, about 10 years ago, I struggle to even maintain my weight. Like I will lose in a heartbeat. It's a real struggle for me.
So you have to, I'm imagining you have to eating pretty consistently.
Yes. And in that, I also stress kills my appetite. So I rely on certain strains to help give me an appetite.
That's a good point. You gotta know what you're doing. You gotta know what medication you're taking, and there are actually, I refer to them as like cannabinoid specialists who kind of help guide you or educate you a little bit more, because there's so much more to the plant. There's the plant terpenes, there's the full spectrum aspect of it, and active, the entourage effect, because that can be applied to not just THC. That can be applied to all the other 540 cannabinoids, right? So this is just like there's a lot of layers to it, and if you don't know what you're doing, and let's say you take a sativa, you get a sativa strain and you're really just kind of trying to chill out, you might not get what you're looking for,
Exactly. Me, I got to stay away from sativas.
Mm-hmm.
They are not good for my blood pressure, not good for my heart rate. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
not good for my focus. They just, they throw me in a spin.
For sure. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I have to at least stick with a hybrid, to kind of counteract it a little bit. Because if I go full sativa, I'm spacing out, and I'm not, I'm a little wired up. But
don't go anywhere. You're listening to Only the Best Herbs. If you would like to support our show, visit surgeonsolution.io and shop the selection of our hemp-derived full-spectrum CBD products. Surgeons is a proud sponsor of Only the Best Herbs.
So I had mentioned that, my mom had heart problems as well. So for me, like I understand a little bit where some of the struggles would be with that, because it definitely doesn't seem like an easy process. It's like with your heart, it's kind of like a life-changing, life-altering thing when you start to have problems with your heart.
It definitely was. And then for that 6 months, the doctors was telling me, oh, stay in bed, stay in bed. You're keeping yourself from having a heart attack or a stroke and all this and that. So that compounded, of course, my stress. So I'm listening to them, and
It's
then it's like,
diminishing your purpose as well, because you're not doing nothing.
yes. And so, it did affect my partnership in business at that time. But once I got back on my feet again, I mean, holy cow, it can't catch up.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
It's a
I
good
will say,
problem.
I do still deal with blood pressure problems occasionally. Like this last week, it was trying to spike, running high and stuff. And so it is something that I still battle, but I don't deal with all the heart palpitations and all the extreme highs consistent like I was.
Mm-hmm. That's a win. That's just a win in itself. And kind of like this kind of ties into it a little bit, because you have your business, right? You have Christian Cannabis Advocate as your business.
Yeah.
And that's basically that's you, and that's you make a whole bunch of different types of extracts, topicals, edibles, so on and
Yes.
so forth, right? How would you say that your faith and your how would you say your religion, basically, how would you say that has helped you, and like what are some of the struggles that you've had going about it that way?
I think that choosing this route, I think my faith has actually helped me, because even on those hard days or the hard weeks that every small business owner encounters, my faith keeps me looking on the positive side. And the positive side is knowing I'm helping people. I'm helping those people that has cancer or kidney failure or liver failure or whatever the patient's needs are at the time, whoever I'm helping. And so that has definitely helped keep me going and been a lot of my drive. The struggles wise, it's been definitely difficult trying to intertwine the Christian and the cannabis together. I get a lot of judgment, a lot of animosity, a lot of, I had people delete me off social media even, and that's fine. That's their choice. People just don't understand how they can intertwine that there, and that's what I'm here to show.
Mm-hmm. We had talked a little bit about diversity. Us talking previously, we had talked about diversity and how your faith had kind of opened your eyes a little bit to how your situation and how your business could be applied to many other religions and beliefs, and their definition of faith and whatnot. And the faith almost, the religion has, I think, in my opinion, because it can be applied to many people, like people are missing the point of what you're doing. It's not that you're trying to push cannabis and stuff on other people, on Christians or anything, because it's exactly the opposite. You're trying to bring in a completely different lifestyle than most are used to. They think about it as weed still, right?
I think on my profile saying the word holistic, it really means a lot, because to me it's well rounded. The word holistic to me, it doesn't mean you have to be a Christian or a Baptist or a Muslim or whatever, like you pointed out. Whatever your religion is, I'm not there to judge that. We're all diverse in that. I'm just there to tie it together so that you can have everything right in the mind, body, spiritual, soul, that whole aspect realm just works together.
I agree. I agree. And I support that too. When I had first met you and I had seen you on social media before, and I was, there are those people on social media that, you don't talk to at first, but you kind of keep your eye on them because you like what they're doing. And
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So,
I
you know,
do.
so I had, so I appreciated, being able to finally, talk to you about some of the stuff that, had piqued my interest. So, I definitely wanted to thank you on my part because I think what you're doing is nothing short of amazing because you have your work cut out for you, most definitely going forward.
Thank you. I appreciate that for
So
sure.
I do need you. So how do we get a hold of you, right? So you got Facebook, Instagram, and then you have your email address, correct? So you can get in contact with you by messenger or by
Email.
yeah, or just picking up the phone and giving you a call would probably be the easiest, right?
That is correct too. They'll notice on my page, my phone number is usually listed from some flyer for an educational class or something that I'm doing. And so my phone number is pretty easy to find.
Awesome. Okay. And I'll include some links in this podcast to Sheila's social media profile so you can easily get in contact with her. Another topic that I wanted to cover with you, how do you think we can move forward and progress everything? Because I have to remind myself, right? We had talked about this. It's not like this everywhere in the United States because people who, in Michigan, I can go get cannabis products anytime I want. But in Texas, for example, you'll get arrested and go to jail. So
Yes.
how do you think we can all work together and start solving some of these issues, start making more progress, start just being more holistic, more cannabis friendly?
I think the biggest thing that I've learned in the 5 years seeing the community in Missouri, even, and outstretched a little bit from what I've seen just starting out, is we got to stick together supporting each other more. Not just locally, but like you said, outstretched in these other states. Just because you have that opportunity for that natural, to help yourself, our brother or sister 4 states over does not have that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So the ones that are advocates going to the government, keep going. The ones that are advocates writing the letters, keep writing. The ones that are advocates like you on podcasts, keep shouting it. We're on social media groups, keep sharing. The more we support each other instead of tearing each other down, I think that it's going to really show astronomical in the end.
For sure. A lot of progress has been made even in my lifetime. It was illegal. I had my issues, possessing it in the past. Like it was like being, it sucked. Like you're always on edge, and it's more of like, I would say cannabis has a lot to do with spiritual beliefs too. So I see, when you do like the Christian cannabis advocate and this, it is very relatable to me because they're all about mind, body, and soul, right? And all that connection. So they are very, in my opinion, and very intertwined. I appreciate what you said about the podcast because it is not easy to keep going sometimes, but I have definitely found the strength, and I think my faith has a lot to do with it, and that's what resonated, and that's why I think we connect so well.
That's awesome.
One last topic that I wanted to talk about was a little bit actually specifically with your business. Um, Tell us a little bit more about what you do, because you make these oils for explain to me like a day, like what's a day for you? How does a day look for you on this business?
Okay, a day usually looks starting at my phone because I'll have some patients that have contacted me over the night, usually about every day, different needs. I have I have come up with all natural, by the way, all of these different herbs, spices, and cannabis and oils. I make a pain cream, lotion, um, a salt that you can sprinkle on your foods, a lip balm, um, dog treats, pain drops. Like, I don't know. I mean, seriously, if I can infuse it, if it's something out there, I guarantee I can infuse it.
Mm-hmm. That's
The,
odd. That's funny.
the biggest thing, probably, that I spend most of my time these days doing is probably the capsules alongside the pain cream. Um, the capsuling would entail anywhere from the chill pills that help with anxiety, nausea, things like that. I've got a patient that's anorexic. It actually helps her have an appetite, where I have another patient, it controls their appetite. So a lot of that just kind of depends on your own endocannabinoid systems, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I make a lot of FICO, you know, that full extract cannabis oil. There's a lot of patients with cancer that receive free medication from me, thanks to anyone that purchases any products from me or donates to my business. That goes back into the FICO program I have for these patients in need. I don't want them to ever have to worry about a cost.
That's
Um,
awesome. That is incredible. That's awesome.
to me, that is the biggest one right there, is trying to keep up with that need, to be honest. It's a struggle. It's not easy.
I
A lot of
bet.
things, but it's definitely worth it. And that's what keeps me going.
That's awesome. So real quick, can you explain a little bit about FICO?
Yeah. I take the whole plant, roots, stems, stalks, sugar leaves, buds, the whole plant. I like adding in extra CBD and CBG. And personally, I use at least 4 strains. That way I'm getting a variety whenever I make mine. And I'll soak that plant, the dried plant, with um, high proof alcohol, whether it be moonshine or Everclear, that is, mind you, very expensive. um, I have a distiller, so I'll then be able to, once I strain that off, I'll distill it down to be able to reclaim and save some of that alcohol. Saves me a little bit of money. And
Mm-hmm.
then I evaporate off the rest of the alcohol, and it makes that beautiful golden brown full extract cannabis oil.
Mm-hmm.
It'll kill the cancer cells, protect them good cells, rebuild new cells.
Mm-hmm. The endocannabinoid system and this FICO, um, I mean, man, it's being hailed as like a miracle medicine. So it's really awesome that it makes complete sense to me for that to be your main product, because of it being such a strong medication and having so many good results. But
Yeah.
I'm glad you shared that with us and educated us a little bit. If you want to learn more if you want to learn more about FICO, I would reach out to Sheila. She has this excellent program, and she's helping a lot of people out here. So go support Sheila, give her a call, reach out to her on social media, And thank you for coming on the show. That
Yes.
it means a lot. It means a lot to me, and I know it will mean a lot to more people out there too who are struggling or on the fence about cannabis medicine. So,
well, thanks for having me anytime. And, I hope if anybody has any questions, I hope they reach out to me.
I do
That's what
too. I truly do. So we are. You have any last words for us before we wrap up?
Oh, I don't know. I guess keep it natural. Stay true to yourself.
Know your worth.
Exactly. Know your worth. Let your light shine, because you never know who it's helping.
Feel free to reach out to us with your experience, questions, or even just to say hello. Until next time, take care of yourself and one another. Embrace the power of nature. Stay curious, stay inspired, and most importantly, stay connected. It's been a pleasure to be part of your day today. You think you have what it takes to be only the best? Reach out to us. Operations@surgeonsolutions.org.